Good morning, welcome back to In the Garden. Paul and Taft here. And Paul, we were talking about potatoes a couple of weeks ago, which seemed like one of the easiest things you could plant, but I think we found something that may be even easier to plant, and it's the onion.
You got it. Now, the special case here is there are actually potatoes 4 inches below in this bed, but they're not going to be up for a good 3 weeks or so. So I'm going to go ahead and sow some onions in this bed that I'll harvest as scallions because they'll only take about 2 weeks to grow. So I'm going to maximize the use of this space. The onions will come out, the potatoes will come up. Makes sense, huh?
Easy to remember. We know that potatoes and onions go well in the skillet. They also go well in the garden as well.
So,
Okay.
to get from here, this is called an onion set. To get from here to a full-size onion, you're looking at about 90 days, maybe a little longer with some varieties. And honestly, this is not easy to do in this part of the country. It's a little easier farther south and east. So what I do typically is I just focus on growing green onions because I use them so much in cooking. Now, it couldn't be easier. There's two methods that you can use. You can go with a set, in which case all you do is I've created a little shallow furrow here. All you do is put it in the ground and do that.
That's pretty tough.
You think you can handle that?
I think I can handle that.
Now, if you go with what are called onion plants, isn't that clever how they name these?
Yeah, well, it's very
After
clever.
all, they are onion plants. If you go that route, first thing you want to do is hydrate them. So I just stuck them in a glass of water here, and you take them out, and sometimes you have to separate them a little bit because the roots get all tangled, but you just kind of pull them apart a little bit, and then you take one, and you set that in the furrow, and you do that.
That was a lot more difficult than the other one.
Now, here's the deal. What you don't want to do is plant these too deeply. Because if you want to get to a big old onion like that, you don't want the soil restricting its ability to expand. So you just barely plant them. And in some cases, if we get a high wind, they'll get knocked over. Well, big deal. You just come right out and just put them right back in again, and they'll be just fine. So that's really, I mean, it is that simple. There's some in a bed over here that I planted last week, as a matter of fact, and they're already coming up, and within another week, I'll be harvesting. Buster, you know you're not supposed to be in the garden here. What are you doing?
He loves onions.
This is my buddy, Buster. He's been with me a while. No, don't
Really
you
loves
get
onions.
in there. Don't you get in there.
So how far apart do we put these if we plant sets as opposed to the plant itself?
Same spacing, but if you want to grow big onions, then you need 4 to 6 inches between. If you're just interested in doing scallions, then you can just do them 2 inches apart, or if you want to do both, plant them 2 inches apart, in 2 or 3 weeks, harvest the scallion, and then you'll be 4 inches apart to go ahead and wait for them to develop into full-size onions. So there again, you're maximizing that space. You're getting as much out of that space as you possibly can. They do need a fair amount of water. But as they start to mature, you don't want to water them too much or they'll rot. If you're planting in rich soil, this is a pretty compost amended soil. I probably won't even bother to fertilize, but if you want to go ahead and fertilize, that's fine. Don't overdo it.
So I think this is the easiest thing you can plant.
Well, it is. It's
almost
pretty
no
close.
issues.
It's pretty close. It's, you know, I've taken a lot of flack over the years for suggesting that gardening is always easy. Well, it's not. But this is.
Yeah, this is easy as it could be, and if you've never gardened before, start with onions and you'll always be satisfied.
What's not easy is for the two of us to stand up now, because
Let's try to do that. All right. Yeah, I don't know about you, but that was the hardest part of this entire thing.
It was.
Standing up.
I agree.